And hello, my fellow nerds. This is Oracle Nerd here, and welcome back once again to our Wonderland Remastered Steam release. So last time we were starting up with Arc 3. We went to investigate Orlem's place, and now I'm actually very interested in what we have to do next. So we can leave his phone be, or we check through it. I think last time I left his phone be. So no, wait. I'm pretty sure I investigated his phone before, didn't I? No, yeah, check through his phone. Pause, just looking down at it for a moment. Do I wince. Bite down on my tongue. Feels wrong, but at the same time, what if there's some kind of clue or hint? I mean, you never know, right? So with a bit of guilt dancing along the back of my neck, started swiping through his apps. First page is mostly just games, social media stuff. Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, Candy Cudgel, Farm Progress Show, a couple of anime-style icons that could either be gacha or dating sims. I switch to the next page. It's full of hookup apps. Tinder, Blender, Grinder, even some ones I never heard of, like 3Fun and Field. I scratched my head, starting to feel a bit uncomfortable. I'm almost scared to swipe to the next page. I simply hold my breath. Oh, just Tumblr. It's just Tumblr, because why wouldn't it be? Well, that wasn't super helpful. He barely seems to have any notifications either. Just the missed calls from me. Nothing else. Feels a bit sad, actually. All these hookup apps, and yet they're all silent. I chew on the inside of my cheek, then toss the phone down to the bed. Somehow I feel even worse. I sink to the floor back against the bed, knees folded up against my chest. I don't know what to do. I don't know where he is. He could be. I don't let myself finish that thought. Instead, I just sit there, arms wrapped around my knees, wondering how the hell it could have gone this bad without anyone noticing. I think to Genzo, to the five of us, to the apartment lady. Her words still sting the back of my brain. Almost not gross, is he? He's just different. Doesn't really fit in. Kinda like me. I stared down at my shoes, but somehow I'd flown mostly under the radar. Well, he'd gotten the brunt of it. I hadn't exactly been the greatest friend to him growing up. None of us had. But we'd had our best moments, hadn't we? I like to think that. I didn't know where else to go. I closed my eyes. Is it okay if I stay here for a little while? When when had that been? Fourth grade? I don't remember. Or I'm standing on the front porch, looking like he's just crawled out of the alleyway somewhere. It's hot, hotter than normal for April, and beads of sweat dot his forehead along with his hairline. His shirt his shirt is a rumpled mess, and his left eye is surrounded by a deep red circle. I can see parts of it already starting to transition into purple. I glance back at the house. My mom's in the kitchen, ironing and watching TV, then step out onto the porch. What happened? I sniff and wipe my nose. I'm just getting over a cold. Owen glances left, right, tugs at his rat tail. I fell. Oh, why can't you go home? Another cringe. My dad's mad. Oh. We stand there a moment, not saying anything. Finally, I jerk a thumb back in the direction of the house. We can play in my room, I guess. Really? He brings out a smile, then grows instantly shy. Okay. Mom, Orlem's here. We're gonna play in my room. I shout as we start back up the stairs. Dinner's in an hour. I hear right before I close the door behind us. Oh, you have so many toys. Orlin picks at his nose. I don't play with some of them anymore. Oh my god, look at little Iggy! Young Iggy, look at him! He's so adorable! My parents don't let me have any toys. None? I sit down in the middle of the room. Orlin falls hesitantly behind. He doesn't respond, instead looking wide-eyed at my shelf of toys and baskets of stuffed animals. What do you want to play? I don't know. We can play Town Square, I say and reach for a box of action figures. I dump them out on the floor. What's that? All the guys live in houses and, talk to each other and stuff. Oh, okay. I start placing my little critter and Berenstain Bear's picture books face down on the floor in a circle. See, these are the houses. Owen picks up a Quasimodo figure from the pile. I like Quasimodo as the one that he picks up. Then there's a small one, and an even smaller one. He looks confused. That one was from a different set, and that one was a Happy Meal one. Oh, but you can be them. They're usually a family. Okay. Places the trio of Quasimodos in a circle atop one of the picture books. I start sorting through the rest of the figures, assigning them to various groups based on what movie they're from. That's a good way to categorize them. Owen watches for a moment, then starts to help. I see him put Lando and Aladdin in one of the houses. Frown. Not like that. Huh? What's wrong? Those two aren't from the same movie. Oh. I pause. Owen's wringing his hands. He looks really flustered. He picks up Lando back up, and I can see him trying to figure out where to put him. I scratches a bit at my bare knee. I guess it's okay then. Then smile. You can decide where to put them, okay? He brings his head back up, and I see a small smile start to form again. I can? Sure. It's not like it matters. We can make our own rules. He's beaming now. I see him instantly go work in various groups out of figures, assign them to their little houses, deciding what their occupations will be. We spend more time setting them up than we do actually playing. In fact, by the time we have the system of government outlined and have finished cutting our small golden bits of paper to act as actual text money, Owen's eyes are starting to droop. I see him yawn. You're tired? We can take a nap, it's okay. Okay. I stand up and step carefully around our extravagant city to reach for the bed. Come on, you can even hold Pink Bunny. 5 minutes later, sees us curled up on the sheets, breeze up from the overhead fan playing with our hair. Aww, look at them. Almost holding Pink Bunny against his chest, he rubs his head again and again. Have you done the social studies homework yet? I shake my head. Not yet, then. I hate it. It's so boring. I always do it last. Mrs. Akers scares me. I do it first so I don't forget. Silence. I see Owen's gaze falls to the mattress. His eyes flutter shut, then back open. Focusing back on me. Does Genzo ever talk about me? What do you mean? I shrug. Just wondering. Genzo talks about everyone. Smile. Yeah, that's true. Then, he's pretty cool, isn't he? Yeah, he's pretty cool. Owen buries his chin in the top of Pink Bunny's head, fingers curling to the fluff of his torso. I feel my eyelids start to sink. Tired too. And the heat isn't helping. The overhead fan is sending lovely brushes of wind against my cheeks. There's a pounding knock from downstairs jerks me from my reverie. I half sit up, face skewed in confusion, listening. Across from me, Orlum squeezing Pink Bunny into his chest with a worried frown. I hear the door open and a warm timbre of my mother's voice followed by a harsh bark of a man's. Can't make out what they're saying. Then there's footsteps on the stairs, sharp and purposeful. The door to my room swings open. Daddy? Orlum sits up, voice cracking. Get the fuck out of here. Do you have any idea how long your mother and I have been looking for you? Orlum winces. Starts to slide himself off the bed. I'm sorry, Zach grabs him by the wrist and yanks him off the rest of the way, nearly sending him stumbling to the floor. George? George! My mother's voice from the hallway. She's coming up from the steps. Is this really necessary? They were just... Orlam's dad storms out of the room, Orlam in tow. When my son is here, you fucking let me know! They disappear from view, but I hear them on the stairs, loud and angry, before just as quickly fading into nothingness out the front door. Here and out in about 30 seconds. Just like a tornado that took off the roof when I was in 2nd grade. I sit quietly on the edge of the bed. Pink Bunny is lying on the floor. His ears are knocked over as small as Quasimodo. Jackass, I hear my mother mutter to herself out in the hall. Then, Iggy, food will be ready in 10. Could you come set the table? Okay, Mom. I push myself off the bed and pad towards the door. It's getting dark by the time I take the bus back to my apartment. It's quiet and empty, and the world outside the windows looks exceptionally black, juxtaposed to the brilliant white fluorescent reflecting off the blue plastic seats. I stare unmoving at the opposite wall, body jerking with each turn of the wheel or the tap of the brakes. And when the bus nears my stop, I let it pass in silence. I don't even glance up at the button. I keep moving, gliding through the night, and like a shuttle cutting through the nothingness of space. I chew on the inside of my cheek. Another stop. The truck keeps rolling without not so much as a pause, as though he never considered stopping in the first place. My legs swing beneath the seat as we round the corner to the right, engine humming against the walls. We're almost there. I hit the button and stand up. After a few more blocks, when the bus finally does grind to a halt, I step out the door. It's dark and cold. The bus chugs away, leaving me standing in a circle of light beneath the bus stop lamp. Where the hell am I? But with only a quick sweep of surroundings, I know I'm there. The development close to my folks' old house, just south of the outcropping of woods that somehow wasn't built over in all these years. My palm tingles, a pinprick-like scratching that jumps from one nerve ending to the next and makes my fingers twitch. I curl my arms around my chest in an effort to dull the growing spark. Why did I get off here? And why does all this feel so familiar? I'm walking, melting into the night, scattered houses like towering shadows against the light polluted sky. I walk and I walk. I walk until I reach a gap. The gap. The one leading straight back to the vacuum of the forest beyond. I don't even stop, already tromping across the uneven track. Somehow this isn't new to me at all. And neither is the glint of orange floating about shoulder height in front of the trees. I start for a moment, moving upwards on the back of my neck, and feel my fingers instinctively curl in towards my palms. I march forward, heels digging into the grass. Hey! Enzo doesn't even have a chance to turn around at the sound in my voice before I grab him by the shoulder. Holy fuck! I feel his entire body tense up in my grip. I swear to God, I've only got $5 on me, and I have the worst hygiene regimen you could ever seen. So I'd be the last person you wanted a new skin suit. Romy hasn't spin around. Have you heard from Orlum? Genzo pauses for a moment, cocks his head, and brightens. Oh, Eggs, it's just you. Let's not make yourself sound less like a homicidal maniac. I don't say anything. You know, it's actually funny. I feel like I expected you to show up. How weird is that? Here I am doing who the fuck knows what, and then you show up doing who the fuck knows what. It's almost poetic, really. The quixotic twist of sibling fuckery. I asked if you've heard from Orlum. Gento pushes his glasses up to his nose, a smile unwavering. How long have you known me for, Iggs? Would I be in this sanguine mood if his unique brand of nightmare fuel had seeped within 5 feet of me today? I twirled before I could stop myself. Grabbing him by the collar of his jacket and yanking him up to his toes. He's missing! Gets sunglasses slide down his nose. I see him blink up at me once in unfocused concern. This quickly fades, his lips curling into a grin. Damn, is it my birthday? How else could how else could I get that lucky? I groan in aggravation and push him away. You know, you could show even a hint of concern for once. Kenzo smooths down the front of his jacket. Iggs, he ain't 5. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. If he's not alone, if he's not at home, he's probably shacked up at some shithole hotel, paying to get his dick sucked. What? We just saw him 2 days ago. I'm not worried. I press my lips together. No, he wouldn't know. How could he know? And even if he did know, he wouldn't care. I bite down on my tongue. I can feel the anger that had been fizzling just beneath my consciousness begin bubbling up towards the surface. Well, maybe, Gento cuts me off, tapping a finger against his lips. He was also doing who the fuck knows what, just like us, dances squirrely little fuckboy feet here. Or there, really. I mean, it is awfully serendipitous, don't you think? Despite his tone, his words give me pause. I find myself turning my gaze towards the darkness of the woods. You mean there? Well, I don't mean the Vatican City. I scratch at the back of my head, curl my toes in my shoes. Do you think we should go check? You ask if as if both of us weren't planning to go already. He's right. Fuck, he's right. I bring a sweaty palm to my forehead, taking a moment to close my eyes. Why the fuck does this all feel so familiar? And what's even worse is that some part of me is scared to death. Like a muffled voice in the back of my head screaming at me to turn around, head back to my apartment and lock the door behind me. But I can't. Already I'm moving towards the trees. Already I'm crossing the threshold between light and dark. I need to find Orlum, make sure he's okay. Except that it's more than that, and even I know it. Well, let's go then? I finally say, my voice shuddering. Lead the way. I throw one final glance back in the black void between the trees, then step inside. The air instantly cools. It's a damp chill, the kind that sticks to your skin and weighs down on your chest. I press forward through the scattered brush, using my hands to keep from walking face first into a tree. I hear Genzo's cane whipping through the grass and snapping against bark behind me. It grinds on my nerves, and when it happens to catch my ankle one time, I snap back at him. Hey, watch it! Sorry, Jesus! I bite down on my tongue, then plow forward faster, somehow not even caring about the trees and branches scratching at my cheeks. My body seems to remember which direction to go. I reach forward, seeking out the bark next tree, only this time, when my fingers touch the jagged edges, it sends a spark all the way up to my arm and into the back of my throat. I stop. Genzo's cane whaps against my ankles again, and he stops too. You here? Yeah, I answer, breath strangely ragged. Yep, and here we go again. Biggest tree in the forest. Its base like a giant boulder choked with winding roots. I let my fingers trace across the surface and I circle around, careful not to trip on the gnarled outgrowths. Halfway around, my hand hits air. I come to a halt. The very edges are there, rounded gap in the side, the hollow echo of stagnant air, the far scent of something sweet. It's open. I take a step back and hear Genzo approach. Jesus. My whole body is crackling with energy now. Even the breeze seems to have shifted, everything moving towards the hole in the side of the tree. When was the last time? Genzo's voice was in a whisper. I don't remember. I throw a glance at Genzo. I just make him out through the darkness. He's got his hands curled up under his hat, nails scratching at his scalp. I lick my lips, scratch my arm. Something feels wrong. Like, really wrong. I can't tell if it's just because of the hole in the tree or the thought that Orlin might have gone inside said hole of the tree. I stare down into the hole. This is all feeling way too familiar. If he really did go down there, he could be hurt or worse. My voice hitches. Iggy, it's basically a magical playground for kids. What's the worst it could do to him? Force him to sit in the corner? I've been more worried about him completely fucking the place up with his freaky deaky fetishes. This makes me wince. Not just because Genzo's being an asshole again, but also because the word is pinging something inauspicious deep in the back of my brain. Like two long lost synapses finally finding each other and zapping the life. The growing cloud of worry morphs into a storm. Still, I move forward towards the hole, popping a squat amongst the weeds. That scent again, soft, sweet, like a tempting aroma of a candy store. It curls up inside my nostrils. I grab the rounded edges and peek inside, leaning forward on my toes. Going inside, aren't you? Genzo from behind. It's phrased as a question, but I can tell it's not. Not really, at least. I just don't feel like we have much choice. Can't argue with you there. I just kneel there a moment, gazing down into the blackness of the hole. Something both terrifying and exciting about it, like standing on top of one of those glass bridges, staring down at the ground hundreds of feet below your shoes. We can make our own rules. I don't know why that specific part of my earlier memory leads back into my brain, but all of a sudden the walls inside the tree seem to be vibrating with the words, like an echo from deep below down. You still there, Riggs? Huh? I turn my head and look back, but whack my forehead at the top of the edge and lose my balance. Then with a bruised thud in my shins lay out a string of four-letter words. Nothing here begins to sway forward. It's get half amused. Well, again, I guess the answer is that question. We're toppling straight into the hole. Darkness swallows me. Falling. Wind whips my hair, my shirt, summoning water to my eyes. My stomach feels like it's been sucked up straight into my bowels. On and on, completely nothing is surrounding me, consuming me. But there's a strange sense of familiarity in the darkness, too. Almost like an old friend is welcoming me back. It's both comforting and strangely powerful feeling. This was our place, a place where we belonged, where I belonged, away from the all-seeing eyes of society. Iggy! I open my eyes. The voice again. Again? Yes, again. It's been waiting for me. What do you want, Iggy? What do I want? What kind of question is that? What do you wish for more than anything else in the whole world? I don't know. Think about my life, about my clients, the work waiting for me at home, my parents, my friends, Bucks and Hooner, Gidget and Genzo, Orlin with his head shoved inside the toilet. I clench my eyes shut tighter. Everyone wants something from me. Just leave me alone. I don't want anything. My fingers starting to tingle. First tiny nibbles of numbness, then building into incessant zaps of electricity up my arms as they grow. Growing into my chest, stomach, shooting down my legs. Oh, it's so loud I can't hear, I can't think. Just when I can't take it anymore. My mind goes blank. Iggy! There's something soft below me. A furry worm curled up and nestled against my back like an oversized lumber pillow. Iggy! What a strange dream. Almost feels like I've been sleeping for a long time. What's the point in waking up now, though? Let the world keep on spinning without me for a few more minutes. I roll over and groan. For fuck's sake, Iggy, you gotta get yourself buried in there! My eyes snap open. This isn't my bed. Now my room definitely wasn't a dream. I let my gaze turn towards the pile of stuffed animals I'm currently curled up in. A sad gray rabbit with droopy ears is staring up at me. Oh! Oh! I blink in silence until shadow overtakes my view. I look to see familiar orange cat's head. Don't tell me that fall knocked a few screws loose. You're looking at that rabbit as though it's about to start talking. I blink, look from Genzo to the rabbit, then back to Genzo. Wait, then I jump to my feet. Or perhaps stumble is a better word, considering the way my legs almost buckle beneath me. I hold my head, waiting for the room to stop spinning before attempting to walk. Easy on the sudden movements there, bud. Genzo just laughs and brings a hand to my shoulder for support. Barely register what he says, my attention more focused on our surroundings. The hardwood floor, the rounded windows, the crackling fire, everything is the same as I remember. Even the table is covered with half-eaten cookies and cake from our final feast. Fuck, is all I can say. Stole the word right out of my mouth. Genzo gives me a corroborative pat on the back. I just take a step towards the table, then towards the stove, and stop. Is Orlum here? I begin twisting my head back and forth. Genzo rolls his eyes. How the hell am I supposed to know? But I don't acknowledge his response, instead already busy in my search. I check all three sets of windows, nothing. Out the door, nothing. I even checked beneath the fucking table as though he could somehow possibly be hiding there. But he's nowhere to be found. My shoulders sag for just a moment, then rise. Perhaps he left some sort of clue for us. I start my search with renewed vigor, this time checking the shelves and cupboards behind the doors and furniture. Genzo watches me the entire time, arms curled in his chest. Iggy, seriously. You know you could be helping. I huff as I push myself back up from checking under the bed. 1, Genzo begins to count his fingers. I don't fucking care. 2, I don't fucking care. And 3, I really don't fucking care. I'm a little more concerned about figuring out what the fuck's going on here than I am about Freckles McFuckface. He continues simply watching me as I move Move from a set of covers filled with boxes and cookies to a crooked chest of drawers. Dust and moths and who knows what else escapes through a cough-induced cloud that gets stuck straight to my lungs when I first open the drawer, then another. I blink back with the water that springs to my eyes. They're all empty. All except a yank over the bottom one. I hear a whole pile of surgical objects go going with force. Crayons? There's hundreds of them, and they clatter and rattle against the other with the movement of the drawer. That's interesting. Grab a handful of them and look all. They all look like they've been seen some use. Some even worn down to nubs, and see more flashes of color beneath where they lay. Drawings, pages and pages of them. I drop the crayons back in and start extricating the papers instead. What the hell is that? Gendo wonders. Somebody's drawings. Well, I can see that. I'm not, but he stops. I stop. And I look up at him, only just a nice note. Not wearing his sunglasses. Oh! Kenzo turns away, his head in his hand to his hat, massaging his scalp underneath. It's, you know, the wish and all. It's just a temporary thing. I blink, look down at the drawings, look back up at Genzo. It's actually weird. Now that I think about it, I hadn't even noticed. Almost like I'd expected it. And though it elicits the thought elicits a gurgle of unease from my belly. I shake my head to force it away. It's no big deal, I laugh. I mean, what else were you gonna wish for, right? Right. Anyway, how we get these over the table? Oh, sure. The two of us gather as many drawings as we can from the bottom of the drawer, dumping on top of the table. Cookie and cake crumbles go tumbling to the floor in the process. The drawings are crude, to say the least. But from the splash of orange decorating most of them, it's clear who made them. I didn't know Orlin was an artist. Genzo bites down on his lip as though holding it out laughter. When did he do all of these, though? I don't remember any of us doing drawings during our trips here. Maybe he came by himself? Genzo scratches his forehead. Nothing kept us from coming whenever we wanted. Pause. Not that I ever came by myself. He turns away with an unsubtle cough. I feel my own cheeks heat up. I'd come by myself more than a few times. Sometimes just get away from things. So to have a place to myself to think, to escape, to shout at the top of my lungs where no one could hear me. But I never thought about the others, if they'd done something similar. I turned my gaze back to the drawing. There's so many of them. Most of them sporting Orlum and the rabbits, playing outside, going on picnics, reading stories in bed. A good number of others are simply of a single brown rabbit with droopy ears. Not a Wonderland rabbit, just a normal one. Drawings of it smiling, sleeping, eating leaves, some of them with Orlum and the rabbit, holding it, petting it, feeding it. I really love that rabbit. I finger through the pile and moving more into view. Hey, isn't this you? I point at one of Orlum and what looks like Genzo holding hands in the smiling sun overhead. Isn't that sweet? I say with a grin. Genzo scowls and shoves it away, so hard it flutters to the floor. Stupid. Ignore it, give him a hard time. I mean, for him giving Orlum a hard time, I think I deserve to give him a hard time a little bit, but... but I mean, I'm not a dick. I probably wouldn't do that anyways. I'm just gonna ignore it for now. He seems especially aggravated, so I don't say anything more. Instead, simply continue my riffling. Holy shit. I stop in one of the tall figures holding the brown rabbit in the air. Beneath the figure is a tiny Orlin with tears running down his face. He doesn't know I just stare at it. I keep going. The drawings are getting weirder. Lots of black, lots of blue, lots of black, dark scribbles of Orlin crying. Of the tall figure familiar with his hands raised, and another shorter figure looking at the ground with a giant frown. Of the shorter figure standing in a pool of red, I reach for the final drawing and suck in my breath. It's nothing but jagged red and black scribbles. He'd attacked the paper so hard it's actually torn in places. You can see the upraised mounds of wax where pieces of the crayons had become lodged in the resulting grooves. Gives when I don't say anything. I let my hand fall back to the side of a slump. Well, that went from 0 to fucked a little too quickly for my taste. I don't respond. I don't know what to say. All I know is there's a big cold stone forming in my gut. I'm not able to dwell on it longer, however, because at that moment the sound of footsteps interrupts my thoughts. Heavy, march-like, steady, and methodical. I throw a glance at Genzo and dash towards the window. Genzo, fall, Genzo follows suit, and soon both of us have our fingers on the sill, our heads squeezed inside the rounded frame, eyes seeking out the source of the sound. They come two by two, boots bruising the dirt, long ears bouncing left and right. They round the curve and well-trimmed path, kicking out the dust with secret steps. Hey, weren't those the rabbits? Wait a minute. Rabbits. Something dings in my head. Strange connection I don't even know was there. Something about the rabbits and Orlum. Yes, there's definitely a connection there. What I don't know, but it's enough to propel me on my feet towards the door. Maybe they know where Orlum is. I say, bring a hand to the doorbell. I don't have a chance to twist it before I'm shoved backwards into the wall. Are you out of your fucking mind? Genzo huffs, his fingers curling into the back of my shirt. You can't go out there. Those things will murder you. I feel my jaw tighten. And why the hell would they murder me? We used to play with them all the time back in the day. Genzo blinks. I see the side of his mouth twitch as he throws a glance toward the door. Because I just know, okay? I have a really bad feeling about those rabbits in particular. He swallows hard. Oh, you have a bad feeling, do you? Maybe because you're doing something nice for Orlin for once? Is that it? And your brain just can't take it? I push back against Genzo enough force that throws him off guard and takes a step back. His eyes go wide. He turns sharp. Another twitch. This has fuck all to do with Orlum, okay? I'm just trying to keep us from getting killed. You keep telling yourself that, so I guess you're right. Oh, I mean, our relationship with Genzo is a bit strained anyways, but... Because I remember that Arc 3 is about Orlum, and then Arc 4 is Gidget. Arc 4 is probably Gidget, and then Arc 5 is the final act. You keep telling yourself that. Yeah. You keep telling yourself that. More like you can't accept the fact that I might actually be worried about him. This time I bring my hand to the doorknob. Genzo jabs his elbow into my gut with such force that it knocks the breath out of me. He stands my back against the door, arm tight against my chest, keeping me pinned. At this point, I hear the footsteps outside come to a hasty halt. And voices. Not far away either. Genzo slaps his hand to my mouth as though afraid I'll say something. I can taste the sweaty palms against my lips. I just stand there, listening, waiting. A trickle of sweat works its way down the back of my neck, beneath my collar, tickling the shoulder blades. Genzo's breath is shuddered, halting just beneath the ear. They're shouting now. I can't make out everything clearly, but someone's mad. Really mad. And then, squishy thuds. Again and again. I wince with each one, feeling Genzo's hand press even tighter against my skin. There's a final deafening crack, another shout. Then the marching begins anew. As it gets further and further away, I feel Genzo's grip loosen. When he pulls away entirely, I slide a good couple of inches down the door, releasing a built-up tension in my shoulders. Genzo wipes at his face, rubs at his eyes. He seems really bothered. I push myself up and away from the door, smoothing down the front of my shirt and wiping the residual sweat from my mouth. Can we go now, Your Highness? You know what? Fuck you too. Genzo just grumbles, but I can't help but there's a strange pain in his eyes when he says it. Almost like I blink, just for a second. The room goes dark. Genzo's closer, much closer. So close I can hear his heartbeat. I can smell the scent of his jacket. The image vanishes. I'm back in the cottage, hand in my chest, fingers curled tight in the fabric of my shirt. I look at Genzo. He looks at me. I know he felt it too. But just as quickly as the feeling overtaking me, it's gone. I huff and turn away, my arms curled across my chest. This isn't the time to be letting my thoughts run away from me. This place is... It's weird enough as is. We have more important things to focus on. Like figuring out what the fuck is even going on. If finding Orlum. If he's really here. He has to be here. There's no way he's... I don't give myself a chance to finish that thought. I shake my head and give my hair a tousle. Genzo just turns head away to grumble. Should we get going then, or what? Yeah, well, let's just go. We walk out the door in silence. God damn. Two of us are standing over the dead body of one of the rabbit guards. Looks like he's been bludgeoned to death, which would explain the sounds we heard from inside the cottage. It's fascinating, really. The way his head is dented inward, the way his veiny eyes bulge out of his skull, the way the blood congeals on the fur of his thick and dark clumps. Not something you see every day, I muse. Yeah, unless you're a serial killer, Genzo squawks. He's kneading his fingers against each other, eye twitching. He glances at cocked brow. You done ogling the fake corpse there, Iggs? I snap out of my daze and shake my head, now I even realize I'd been staring. Just grossing me out is all. And rightfully so. Genzo runs a hand through his hair beneath his cap. Let's keep moving then, shall we? He looks left and to the right. Let's say we go this way. Something suddenly snaps. Oh, so you can make all the decisions now, do you? Genzo's brow furrows. God damn, Iggs, what's wrong with you? Was only suggesting we don't follow the homicidal rabbits, but go off. What the fuck? I blink. Did it again. Where did they even come from? Why should I even care what direction we go in? It feels like literally everything is setting me off. Sorry, I rubbed my eyes. There's a strange residual heat dancing in my chest from a receding flash of anger. That's fine, yeah, let's go that way. Genzo looks at me for a moment longer, chewing on the side of his cheek, then starts off down the path. I follow after him. It's quiet as we walk. The tall clusters of fiery red corridor us in the river. The dirt dissects us left and right like the waters in the canyon. Above us, the sky glitters a stunning orange. And on our either side, strange flowers of blues, purples, and teals dot the grass between the trees. I catch Genzo glancing at me. What? He turns back in front and shrugs. Guess I'm almost hesitant to ask, but what did you wish for? I blink and frown. Nothing. Nothing, I finally say. Nothing? I don't know, I couldn't think of anything. I don't really want anything. God damn, Mr. Perfect over here. Genzo laughs. Here I had about 50 different things I could have wished for. I don't respond. Even now I can't think of what I could possibly want. To make sure Orlem's alright. But that's less of a want and more of a need? Like, I just seriously need to make sure he's okay. Make sure he's not, you know. I let the thought trail off as my eyes drift towards the surrounding trees. As for myself, though, I just don't really care enough about my life, about things, about myself. I turn the on my cheek, the gill is tickling back my neck again. You should have cared, my inner voice hisses. That's your problem, and now you've let everything get fucked up. That anger again. But this time I quell with a huff. Around the corner, and this time the path opens up to a small clearing. An outcropping of rocks overlooks a small pond in the other end. From its peak flows a miniature waterfall, light reflecting off the steady drizzle. I take a step forward towards the pond, only for Genzo to grab back my shirt. He quickly tugs me back to a nearby tree. 2 seconds later, a rabbit soldier appears, nose twitching, his eyes searching the ground. I freeze, eyes wide, the two of us just watching the rabbit in silence. Fuck, I know this. I definitely know this. Images of blurred trees of racing steps are flashing through my brain. Genzo must be feeling something too, because his arm tightens around me. Possessively, almost. But rather than providing comfort, it just makes me scowl. I don't need your protection. I can take care of myself. I shook away, but must misjudge the amount of force required, and because the momentum sends me stumbling forwards and out from the safety of the trees. My eyes hit their hard, not more than 10 feet in front of the rabbit. I hear Genzo shout from behind me as I attempt to scramble back to my feet. The rabbit's always staring at me, looming over me. Damn, he's tall. I suddenly feel incredibly small. The rabbit's head cocks first left, then right, ears twitch. Who are you? He finally demands. I start bringing my hands up, hoping to somehow wave myself off, then change my mind. You know what? I don't need this shit. This is our world, and I'm not gonna let some old rabbit do as he pleases. I bring my index finger and start to march forward. I'm unable to finish. Genzo rushes out of the trees and yanks me back behind it with such force and momentarily jolts me out of the air in my lungs. He puts a hand out like some sort of football quarterback ready to hike. We're just passing through. Nothing to see here, he tries. But the rabbit doesn't seem to be buying it. He blinks, just staring at Genzo. His eyes dilate and widen, his ears go straight. Wait a minute, you're that fellow the king told us to watch out for, he chuckles. And you got yourself a little side dish too. This must be a lucky day. A promotion and a treat. He he raises his spear with a slobber, points it straight at us, and then charges. It happens before I can process it. 1 second I'm standing by Genzo, and the next, something yanks at my wrist with such force. It's no wonder that my shoulder doesn't pop clean out of its socket. I pulled out of the way of the charging rabbit before the spear would have gone clean through my belly. I stumbled forward, nearly toppled against Genzo's shoulder. Then his fingers clamp even tighter around my wrist as he takes off down the path, dragging me with him. Genzo! I choke out, barely manage to keep up. But he doesn't stop. Can't stop. Apparently, because both of us throw a glance back, we see the rabbit already after us, circling back around and renewing his charge. Fuck, fuck, fuck! This path leads out of the forest and down the river, the water whizzing by our right. We're going so fast I don't even notice a roadblock until it's too late. Genzo hits it first. I hear him give a startled oomph right before I slam into the fleshy wall next to him. Both of us hold backwards on the ground. What the fuck? A giant slab of pink flesh just about waist high is sitting there, blocking the entire road. And it's wet, sopping. It looks like a tongue. I start. Only to get to a yelp and turn my attention back to the rabbit behind us. Up, 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 up! Genzo shrieks and pulls me at my feet, fingers clawing my shirt and practically throwing me up onto the porous mass. I go head over heels, landing with a moist flop on my back. And just as I attempt to sit back up, Genzo follows. Clambering up so quickly he loses balance and crashes straight into me. I slam back in the using ground and sputtered oomph, Genzo's full weight coming down on top of me. Fuck my life, I hear Genzo mutter. But he doesn't move for a second. As I'm lying there, I feel my heart start to pick up. I can feel him. His weight keeping me pinned. My legs straddling his hips. I squeeze my eyes shut. All at once, memories of junior high are flashing back into my mind, making my chest clench and my mouth dry. What if he... I don't let myself finish that thought. Panic getting the best of me, I shove up against his shoulders and after a huff. Get off! Genzo groans and starts pushing himself to his knees. That's not fast enough for me. I'm gonna give him another shove, was sharper as I intended. Get off! Ugh. It jolts him. He jerks backwards so fast he slips back to the ground with a splat. I push myself up to my elbows and see him turning away, cough, his face red. Sorry, fuck. I just... The air got knocked out of me for a second. My mouth moves before I can stop it. Well, maybe you should have watched where you were fucking going. He winces. Looks at me. Then towards the ground. Yeah, sorry. He rubs his palm against his eyes. I can see him mouth what looks multiple rapid fire rounds of fuck. But at this point, I'm beyond caring. We have more important things to be worrying about. My gaze goes towards the rabbit. He's just standing there, the edge of the flesh slab, spear rigid, eyes sharp. He's not following us. So I let my eyes wander further, following the pink nodules of the ground back around towards the cliff face. That's why I see it. They're sitting inside of the cliff to the largest fucking eyeball I've ever seen in my life. It's round and wet, sitting there as though perched atop a throne. Upon a movement, its oversized pupil swivels with an almost inaudible rumble to stare straight at us. I think this is a tongue, I groaned, lips twisting in disgust. You've gotta be fucking kidding me. I throw a final look at the rabbit to make sure, absolutely sure he's not following us, then push myself shakily to my feet and try to take a step. Come on, let's just try to get across. But walking across the gelatinous surface turns out to be akin to walking across a waterbed, a very gooey waterbed. I probably slip and fall face first into the pink pulp, saliva gushes up through my jiggly pores. Next to me, Genzo was crawling forward on all fours, his face betraying his disgust. He turned towards me for a second, almost still about to say something. Then he must decide against it because I see him wince and jerk his head forward. I turn my own attention back to my hands and the way my fingers are sinking into the tongue's flesh. Bile quickly rises to the back of my throat. Nothing. But I shake my head and keep going. I keep my eyes trained forward as I crawl, trying not to look or think about the viscosity seeping beneath my fingernails. It's slow going, but we're making headway. Halfway there, halfway across the vast ocean of pink. Just need to keep moving. It's at the moment that the tongue moves. It starts with a low rumble. Then the salmon-colored flesh begins to undulate, giving rise to rippling tremors that send our bodies bobbing. What the? My hands go slipping and sliding in the vertical mountain. The flesh rises up on the ground, taking us with it. The fuck? Genzo loses balance and lands on a splat on his back, his hands to his head. The growing hillock takes us up, 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 higher and higher. Before just suddenly shifting gears and rolling like a wave. The upsurge of flesh ripples crest that begins surging forward, taking us with it. It was a track of up and down, slipping and sliding across the slick surface. The only and only once it slows to a stop, my body slides limply down the side like a flash. Do I notice how close we are to all-seeing eye? Desert glides down next to me. Neither one of us makes a sound. As a warbling pupil, the eye dilates, focuses, and stares straight through us. I can see tiny twitches of movement, just ever so slight, jumping back and forth between us. Quiet. Moisture dribbles down my forehead, cheeks, and past my collarbone and tickle my spine. Quiet. Close my eyes. Take a deep breath. And all of a sudden, my jaw grows taut. I feel my brows furrow as my lips curl into a scowl. This fucking thing. I've had just about enough of this. This is our world. My eyes pop open with a snap. Hey! I push forward, separating myself from the slick surface of the tongue and nearly toppling over. The eyes people jerks towards me immediately, dilating as it studies my wobbly frame. Iggy, what are you? Genzo winces as he brings his hand to his cap. I don't care what he's thinking. I raise my fist with an angry grunt. Hey, you big stupid bowling ball! Yeah, the people shudders. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You and stupid tongue of yours. I stomp down the oozing flesh beneath my feet as it bounces with a gooey jolt. You think you could just block the road like that? I demand you let us through. The angry heat is back. It's bubbling and surging up to my chest, spreading out across my arms with a fiery tingle. I feel like I could take on anyone. Do you hear me? Then I shake my fist. You're going to let us through right now, dude. Honestly, this is starting to give me vibes of the that one Simpsons meme. Old man yells at cloud. Just old Iggy yells at eyeball. Then it makes a curious noise, almost like a confused dog. This is our world. You answer to me. I'm pointing right at it now. I can feel the tendrils of heat lapping at my skin. I can almost feel them rising from me, like a drop of fire and brimstone. It brings a smile to my face. Another noise from the eye. Then it quivers. The pupil rolls back, and out of view. Beneath us, the surface of the tongue unrolls and flattens with a rumbling flop. Gizzo yelps and falls backwards into his rear end. When he wobbles up to his feet, his eyes are wide as dinner plates. Holy hell, Eggs, what was that? The anger in my chest fading away, leaving a sense of pride in its place. I adjust the weight with my pants and feel a triumphant grin. Oh, just telling you who's boss. Genzo blinks, cocks a brow. Then finally returns with a smile. Damn, gotta say, that's a side of you I've never seen before. I shrug and start towards the edge of the tongue, anxious to get back on solid ground. Just tired of being so mellow, I guess. Genzo watches me for a moment, then attempts to jog after me. Promptly slips straight into a pile of saliva. Oh, that's funny. Once clear of the tongue, it's back on the road, which winds up and around, following the river to our right. Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and leave this video here for now. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!